This is Chicago Sports Tonight.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Chicago Sports Tonight. Lou Canellis with you. Joining me on the panel tonight, Tina Nguyen from CHSN. Good to see you again.
Thank
Ruthie
you for
Polinsky.
having me. Great to see you both.
And Eddie's in the house. Eddie from Barstool. It's been a while, my friend.
Been a while. It's great to be back with you, Tina. Great to meet Ruthie.
I know,
Bears
our first time
1-2.
Eddie and I are coordinating, color coordinating here.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. You guys look great. And by the way, I don't know how much more this guy can take after last night's Game 7 of the World Series, the Packers losing at the last second, the Bears winning this football game. How great was it? And I get it. Special teams, not very good. Defense was awful. But the Bears win a game again that you weren't sure. Matter of fact, you didn't think they were going to pull out.
I mean, last season, this would have been a game that they would have lost. Just a roller coaster of emotions there. You were up 2 scores with about 2 minutes to go. The Bengals scored 15 points in 49 seconds. Good to see, though, this team keep their composure. I think that was the biggest thing. A win is a win. However, it has exposed, hey, the defense not very good and special teams struggling too.
I think what we're learning about this team is that fourth quarter sort of clutch element and the resilience is the word that Ben Johnson used. Like, that's not a fluke. Like, I think it's now there's evidence that this is a trend and this team is different than they were a year ago. And like Tina said, I felt the same way. This was a game that the Bears would have lost last season. So there's signs of really encouraging progress, and there's a lot of belief in that locker room right now.
I was a little worried about Eddie. I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, but Eddie went downstairs.
Oh, wait, let's see.
He was going to bang his head against, what was it, the hot water heater?
Anything
Yeah, the hot
dramatic?
water heater got a
I
new,
mean,
yeah.
I wanted to pull the tape, but there were so many words that didn't fly on the
Eddie!
TV. I
I'm
couldn't.
shocked.
Listen, that's the 3rd game out of 8 that's come down to the end. So it's like the whole city, like we all feel that too. So, I mean, at some point, could we just make this easy for us? That'd be great. But regardless, a win's a win, and we're not going to apologize for it, just like Ben said.
Parity is raging in the NFL, especially in the NFC North right now. Ask the Packers, they lost at home to Carolina today, or the Lions, who dropped one at home to J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings. It's tough to win in the NFL, folks, but when you do, man, it is so gratifying. Embrace it. This team believes they can win games even when it seems like they're going to give it away. They did it in Vegas, they did it in Washington, and now Cincinnati.
They are an extremely resilient bunch. They show up and they're going to fight you all 60 minutes, and they really don't waver. I give them a lot of credit for their poise. You don't apologize for winning in this league. It's too hard week in and week out, especially on the road. And so, you know, it's as a coach, you don't take these things for granted.
In those moments, I think the guys have belief that we're going to go win those games. And so having those moments, you know, come up and find ways to win only provides confidence for us, and we got to keep going.
I think that's the craziest game I've been a part of, and most importantly, that's the most important thing, winning the game. So, yeah, I mean, I think I did some good things, but I'm just glad to be a part of the winning side of that.
Caleb, I mean, delivered it right on the money, right in my chest, and then it happened to, like, kind of spin around. It was like, man, I'm still up, so may as well go try to score this thing.
Is this the actual ball?
Yeah, I don't know which one it is. No?
I was wondering how you ended up with it.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Mom will like this one, though.
Yeah, Mom will like it. Are you starting to believe in this team?
100%. I think it's just a sign of progress. And when I say I believe in them, is this a playoff team? I think we'll see. The schedule in the next stretch of the month of the season is going to be really, really challenging for this team, but they're better than they were a year ago. And there's a Ben Johnson effect that I think we're all feeling. 4 gadget plays used today, and guess what? Ben's going to have 4 more next week, and that's the exciting thing about what he does with his offenses. I think today, guys, let's give just a little shout out to the rookies. This was a really good day for Ryan Poles in general. Kyle Monungai, Colston Loveland, Austin Booker. A lot of these draft picks are starting, these young players are starting to really come into their own.
I believe in this team, and I believe in Ben Johnson. You look at the way they've won in Vegas, Washington, even today. Vegas, the blocked field goal there. Washington, Jake Moody's last-second field goal to help them win the game. And then just today, Bengals, they scored 15 points in 49 seconds, but they still held on, kept that composure. And I think Ben Johnson's building a tough, tough team.
Eddie, we have seen a lot of bad football, you and I, over the years from the Bears. It just feels different. It feels like these guys, you know, Ruthie referenced it, They believe in Ben Johnson. And when you believe in your manager, when you believe in your head coach, heck, man, you do things that you didn't think you were capable of doing.
For sure. I believe the Bears are not bad. I don't think they're good. I don't think any of the 7 playoff teams right now, I don't think they could beat them. I'm not there yet. I think we're beating the teams.
Why is that? What do you need to see still that'll make Eddie feel like, hey, you know what, I think they're a pretty legit team?
Well, because like today, the Bengals, they're a disaster. They're like a 94 Buick that nothing works in the car, but like the engine is okay, which is like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and that's why it's still going. You know, that's the only reason why. The teams are beaten. They're not good teams, right? Like Washington is a shell of themselves at this point, and you can't change your schedule. You play who's in front of you, but I think when big boy football comes along, I don't think the Bears are there yet, which is fine. I don't think anyone was expecting a Super Bowl this year. It's just progress. Progress has been my whole theme the whole year. So.
But what about in the way that they've won those games, even against bad teams? I mean, we saw Carolina today beat Green Bay.
Totally. You're right. And listen, bad. Like last year they were bad. I think they're not bad right now. To put them in the category of good, I want to see how they do in the back half of the schedule, especially playing those divisional opponents again. And that's where I'll kind of assess when we get there.
I'll tell you what, I really like the way Caleb Williams played. And I'm not even going to throw his numbers out there. And I knew there were a few times I need to look back at the game to see how many wide receivers he missed out there on the football field, guys that were open. But I will say this, he tucked it and took off when I thought he should tuck it and take off. There were also times where he made throws that no one else, maybe in football, could make. Maybe Josh Allen on the move because the guy's got a bullet of an arm. How did you think Williams played?
You know, I think it was better than last week, which I think everyone wanted to see and feel, but it really was the run game I felt like was the engine for this team today, for the offense, to be able to move the ball and create opportunities for the passing game, that's an okay thing to say. Like, everyone can calm down and let the run game sort of carry Caleb Williams as he gets more and more comfortable in this Ben Johnson.
Let me jump in for a second because I want everyone to hear Kyle Monangai. I know you're a big fan of Monangai. Here we go.
I have high expectations of myself. I put a lot of pressure on myself. So, you know, it's the work I put in, I expect the results I get, but that doesn't mean I'm satisfied or anything like that. It means I just got to keep going.
I'm not surprised. That's kind of who he's been since he's been here. Very reliable. He's going to do what you're coaching. I think he's hard to bring down. I think that showed up. What he was in Rutgers was the bell cow for that team, and he proved today that he can carry that load if called upon.
Guys, this guy ran for $176, 7 yards a carry. All right, I don't think he had more than 13 yards or 13 carries in a game all season long. And I was looking back, there were 21 running backs drafted before Kyle Monangai in this past draft. Not bad for a guy who finally got a start.
It was really exciting to see, and I've sort of been someone that's banging on the table for Kyle Monangai really ever since the draft, so I'll toot my own horn here for a moment because there's something about him that it has been special to me from day one. People that I know who are within the Rutgers program spoke so highly of Kyle Monangai, and his size is really the reason that he fell to where he did in the 7th round. And I think what's so exciting about his performance today is that you saw the toughness, you saw the vision, you saw how hard he runs, you saw the way that this 5'8" player was moving piles, moving Bengals defensive linemen who are 3 times his size. So it's just, there's a lot to be encouraged by, and I think the way that he stepped up in the absence of DeAndre Swift was really cool to see.
You think they found Sonic and Knuckles?
There is a saying in life that I love, be so good that they can't ignore you. And that is we saw from Kyle Monangai today. I love watching him in the preseason. He runs tough. He's a tough guy to take down, always lowering his shoulders, pushing the pile forward there. And I think today it made me, after seeing this game, think to myself, Ben Johnson, I want to see him get more involved in that game plan.
Do the Bears have their Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery that Ben Johnson had in Detroit, or too early right now?
I swear I don't want you to play the Debbie Downer music every time I talk because that's what I feel here. But no, that's crazy. David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, is the best running back in the league. So no, like I'm excited for Kyle Monangai. I think you both bring up great points. I'm excited. I hope he gets even carries here when Swift comes back. I think he looks like a bowling ball. He runs hard, and I'm excited to see him keep going. But I mean, if you read the team, like everywhere you go, the Bengals, like everyone has a career day against the Bengals.
Yeah, they stink. You're right. Their defense is without question the worst in the NFL. The other reason why I get excited about what I saw today from the offense is because Ben Johnson, and I have 100% trust in Ben Johnson, keeps telling us in December we'll be playing our best football, and they still put up 47. I don't care against who.
Yeah.
Those are still NFL players. You guys agree?
Totally. And just to swing back to that Sonic and Knuckles, they're almost like Sonic and Knuckles Jr. And I'll say that just because I think they complement each other's style well. When Swift is back, I think the two of them are two different kinds of running backs, and you can really sort of play into each of their skill sets. Obviously, Sonic and Knuckles are Sonic and Knuckles for a reason. It's really hard to replicate that in any way, shape, or form.
By the way, I love the use of the tight end today.
Ooh,
Everyone
me too.
on the bandwagon with me?
Go Blue, Michigan.
Exactly.
Michigan
Michigan had a big day. Thankfully, Anthony Herron and I were screaming about it on Bears Game Day Live. Throw to the middle of the field, take advantage. I thought it was one of the reasons why this team needed to be better in the red zone, because they weren't targeting the tight end.
Yeah.
It's so obvious. And sure enough, Loveland had 7 targets while he was healthy on the football field. Komet had a couple of targets as well. He threw more to the tight end than he did anyone else today, finally.
Clay Harbor talked about on our show this week, just obviously a former NFL tight end. He talked about how much these young Bengals linebackers have struggled this season.
Yeah.
That was going to be an opportunity to exploit and use the tight end. Really exciting to see Colston Loveland have a career day.
And he got the game ball. Him and Kyle Monunga, I believe, got the game ball. Again, I feel like on Bears Game Day Live, one of us predicts Colston Loveland's going to have a big day, and it was finally great to see that happen today. Again, I know it was against a Bengals defense that wasn't good, and yes, those linebackers are not great too, but I think confidence-wise, though, good for him to kind of get going today,
It was good to see the potential that we've heard about so much, right, from both of those guys.
Well, especially since they spent the 10th
Exactly.
pick
Right.
in the draft
Exactly.
to get Colston Loveland.
Good, better, bad! Good, better, bad! Never let it rest! Never let it rest! Good gets better! Good gets better! Anybody gets better! Anybody gets better! Bears on 3, 1, 2, 3, Bears!
Colston Loveland, I came down to the boiler room ready to bash my head into that pipe after giving up 15 points in 49 seconds, but right down the middle of the field, it's Colston Loveland, free and open, touchdown Bears, bear the down.
Man, are you okay?
I'm all right.
Let me take his temperature. Holy cow.
I swear I was saying words. I wasn't just
had to
like
change your
mumbling
shirt
the F
after
word.
that one.
Yes, exactly.
I love the passion.
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting. I was excited.
All right, our Bears discussion brought to you by High Definition by Xfinity, introducing the 5-year price guarantee, one consistent internet price for the next 5 years, guaranteed. Were you guys unhappy with special teams?
Yeah.
How could you
Yes,
not
absolutely. The first play of the game.
Wait. How can you not be? Let me start with you.
be? Yeah.
No Dominique Robinson, no Roshan Johnson, key players on special teams. Yes, opening kickoff, the kid from Deerfield takes it back for a touchdown. Second kickoff, I think it was 39 yards on the return. And I think sometimes when you miss 2 key players like Robinson and Roshan, that you've got to adjust, and there are certain guys that need to find their spot in gameplay. I get it, they're practicing without those guys through the week, but in gameplay, I listen, they did not play well, but I don't think they played it as poorly as I've heard on the radio since the game.
But I don't think it's just today, Lou. How many times have we looked up and seen our kick team just not get a guy before he gets to the 40? You know, it's been consistent this year where we give up poor field position off the kick.
I think, Lou, to your point, the thing about special teams is that there's always got to be somebody ready for special teams. And I think that's sort of how your roster needs to be constructed. What was don't forget about the onside kick. That was Daniel Hardy, who's one of your best special teamers, who made a crucial mistake there touching the football before it got 10 yards. So I think there's just a lot of, there were a lot of issues, and I think the defense has its issues too, which I know we'll get into, but I believe that if the Bears would have lost today, we're saying that special teams was the reason why.
The kickoff coverage there needs to be better operation with the field goal. I mean, the kicker with Cairo Santos, Jake Moody, that's questionable to me. There's pressure right now on Richard Hightower to really get this fixed, man.
All right, they need to fix the defense. You touched on it. I mean, it was awful. Bengals 42 points. Most the Bears had ever given up in a win. They gave up almost 600 yards. Joe Flacco looked like Johnny Unitas out there. Threw for 470. Guy's in his 18th season. 40 years old, he had never thrown for that many yards in a game. There's really not much you can do with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Those two guys are burning everyone that they come across. but the defense needs to get better.
Yeah, I think I'm officially out in the Deshaun Wright experiment here. I'm done.
But what are you going to do?
There's not much you can do. You're
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
there's not much you can do. And that's where you get in that special team discussion. There are things you can do there. Because that, to me, a lot of it comes down to effort, too, on that kick coverage. You know what I mean? It's like you could get guys off a practice squad who can make some things happen. But defense, you're kind of just SOL.
Yeah, you just think about all those injuries in the secondary, and it's just hard to think about what you had coming into the season and now missing not only your two best players on defense in Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon, but maybe two of your best players on the entire team who are not out there. I think the C.J. Gardner-Johnson experience was fun today. We felt him out there for sure, which was cool. And you also felt him on the sideline when he was chirping the Bengals players on the bench. I don't know if you guys caught that, but that's sort of that juice, that fire, that energy that they talked about all week long that he brings to a team. To your point, the defense isn't very good, and I think we talked all week about how bad the Bengals defense is. This is going to be a story for the Bears. They've got to get creative, and Dennis Allen, I think, is the right guy in charge to try and figure it out.
They don't put enough pressure on the quarterback. It's just that simple. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, you talked about him, signed just this past week by the Bears, second on the team in tackles, had a sack in this game, a quarterback hit, and a tackle for loss.
Good team got to finish. You know, like you're going to take that step. Become a championship team and be a competitor, you know, you got to be able to keep them out of the end zone, regardless of them being down 10 points, whatever it may be. You guys learn how to lock them out and finish the game, get the ball back to Caleb, take a knee, and go home, so we got to beat this close.
This is your first experience with Caleb.
Bear down.
You sum up the game with the ebbs and flow of it in one word.
Intense and very nerve-wracking.
He made his point out there. He made his presence felt, let's just say that. And you brought up a great point while we were listening to C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Trade deadline on Tuesday, and I don't know if you saw the pregame show, but during the pregame show, they talked about the Bears being very active on the phone right now. My guess is probably looking for a pass rusher because they're not putting enough pressure on the quarterback. Before we wrap up this segment, I want to go around the horn. Give me a player of the game from the Bears. And there's three options here. Colston Loveland, Kyle Monangai, and the offensive lineman would come after me if I didn't say the offensive line as a whole as well.
Gotta give him credit. Yeah.
What about it, Eddie?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Loveland. I think that breakout game, the last play, obviously was exciting, so I'm going to say Loveland.
Kyle Monangai for me. I mean, just talking to him on Friday in the locker room, he said EB was the one that told me, hey, you're going to be the lead back heading into Sunday. He was ready, and it was awesome to see him get going today.
You know who I'm going to say. Kyle Monangai. I'm so excited. I loved seeing that opportunity.
I thought you might go with your
Michigan.
Michigan guy.
Well, I know my Michigan guy, Colston Loveland. Man, this is a tough day for me, actually, for you to ask me that question. But I will say that I think the offensive line is not getting enough credit, and I'm glad you brought it up because they played their tails off today and were creating holes and gave Caleb a lot of time, too.
Last 30 seconds, 5-3. Did you have the Bears 5-3 through 8 games?
No, because I didn't think the schedule would break down like this. A lot like who knew that the Bengals would be facing Joe Flacco and not Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
So.
And it's Tyler Huntley and not Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
But it was good that the Bears were able to get one of these two because looking at the schedule from the preseason, not knowing who was going to be playing quarterback, I would have said they lost both of these games.
Yep.
Did not expect this. Didn't expect them, though, to face Joe Flacco in this either, so.
Our NFC North scores and standings are brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover a movement that inspires. Welcome back to CST. There are the scores from today, Week 9, focusing on the rest of the NFC North. All noon kickoffs along with the Bears. And boy, how about the Vikings in Detroit? Who had Minnesota winning at Detroit? Anyone here?
No, especially with J.J. McCarthy. You know, in his first game back after missing 5 games, he looked pretty good.
And all I kept hearing about was, how long does it take to come back from a high ankle sprain? I bet Kevin O'Connell just doesn't really care for him. That's why he kept throwing Carson Wentz out there with half his shoulder hanging.
J.J. McCarthy silenced some of the critics today, and I will be honest and say I was one of those critics today, but the Lions played so sloppy today. Vikings defense, though, stepped up. Jared Goff was sacked 5 times, and they did a great job at containing Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. 20 carries for only 65 yards there.
Lions looked like they were sleepwalking coming off the bye week. Packers, hosted the Panthers, and Carolina goes into Lambeau Field, pulls off the upset. Ryan Fitzgerald with the game-winning field goal as time expired. Eddie, that was a shocker as well. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Panthers were 2-touchdown dogs in that game.
Yeah, they were. You know, I don't know how you lose to a team when you're 2-touchdown favorites. So the Packers,
Good day
I'm sorry
for those who took Panthers plus 13.5.
Really notable.
Such a thing.
Really notable out of that game, Tucker Kraft with a knee injury, and they're saying they think it might be an ACL, so he could potentially be out for the year, which is very detrimental to their offense.
By the way, that's horrible news since he's on my fantasy football team.
I'm sorry to hear that, Lou.
Focusing now on the current NFC North standings with the Lions and Packers both losing. Bears a half a game back for the division lead, and now all 4 teams are 500 or better. Welcome back. This year's World Series, man, it'll be remembered forever, okay? It truly was an all-timer. Dodgers repeat as World Series champs for the first time since the Yankees pulled it off a quarter century ago. First time in the National League since the Cincinnati Reds. I know you guys weren't alive at that time. I was, all right? Joe Morgan, the Big Red Machine, they did it back in 1976. I want to talk about last night's Game 7 first, Ruthie. Where does that stand? Because I know we're calling it, many people are calling it the greatest World Series game ever.
Yeah.
But it's also the most recent World Series game. And 2016, that was a pretty good World Series.
It was pretty unbelievable.
Between the Cubs and Cleveland.
Lou, this is a cop-out for me. I don't like playing that game, best World Series ever, but I do think this one's got to be at the top of the list just because of the way the series went, the way the Dodgers just never gave up. And I think also when you have the best player in the world, maybe in the history of the game on that team, like, it was destined. Like, the way that Shohei Ohtani performed over the course, not just of the season, but in the World Series, like, you knew it had to be the Dodgers moment.
Is Ohtani the best or Yamamoto?
Right.
Well, first off, you got to give credit to the Blue Jays, right, in the run that they had, but it is so tough to count the Dodgers out. Yoshinobu Yamamoto pitched on Friday, came into relief pitch yesterday. That's what you call gutsy, gutsy, gutsy.
Eddie, did you have the Dodgers or the Jays?
I wanted the Jays. I really didn't care, to be honest with you. I just wanted a good game, and that's what we got. So, but I was rooting for the Jays.
You got a heck of a series, did you not?
Dude, it was incredible. The collision out in the outfield, 2 plays at the plate.
The 18-inning game.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, last night kept me up all night. Great to see you. Thank you guys for coming in. That is it for Chicago Sports Tonight. For Ruthie, Tina, and Eddie, I'm Lou.